Alright, for this tutorial we're going to use Illustrator to create line flowers blending from one color to the next. So go ahead and go to File, New, and let's open a web document. So instead of print, choose web, 800 by 600, and we'll click OK. And here's our web picture. And if you want to use the hand tool to move this screen in a more viewable space, that's fine. This green line represents the borders of our page. So let's go ahead and use our pen tool. And with the pen tool, we're going to be making our flower shape, and I don't want it to be filled with anything, so I'm going to click on the fill box and I'm going to say none. I don't want to fill. And for my stroke, I'm going to choose a really light green right here. So just choose a really bright green. Click OK. And let's go ahead and make sure that stroke is set to 1 point. And with your pen tool, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click once to make a point, and then I'm going to go down here and make another point, but while I click it, I'm actually going to click and drag the mouse. And I'm going to make kind of a leaf shape with my pen tool, just like that. So as soon as you get this kind of arc shape, and don't worry about this line basically is an anchor that pulls the shape into the position that you need it to be. Go ahead and hit your selection tool, and that will finish it off. So with my selection tool, I'm going to select nothing, and so now I'm going to click away basically, so now that line is set. Okay, I'm going to come down here to my pen tool again, and I'm going to use a stroke of blue. I'm going to use blue as my stroke. Maybe this blue right here. Click OK. And I'm going to go ahead and come up here again, and I don't want that little slash to show up next to my pen. I want there to be an X next to my pen tool. So go ahead and click near the point of the old one, and down here again, and this time I'm going to click and drag the opposite direction so that I can get that kind of leaf shape. And you can bend this around until you get it into the right shape. Alright, and that's blue. I'm going to click my selection tool and click away. And so I've got gaps right here between these two. We're going to fill those in just a second. So I'm going to go to my object and I'm going to go to blend, and I'm going to choose blend options. And for my blend options, yours will probably be on smooth color, but let's choose specified steps. And let's also make sure that align to page is not selected. We want align to path. And I'm going to do specified steps at 8. So I'm going to choose 8 as my specified steps. Click OK. You won't see any change. We're just setting up what we're going to do next. So I'm going to click on this line, and with my arrow keys on my keyboard, I'm just going to nudge this into place so that it's touching both sides right here. And I'm going to select the entire thing by just dragging my mouse, and now I've got both sides of this selected, and I'm going to go to Object, Blend, and Make. And you'll see that it is filled in green to blue, and it's fading from green to blue as the lines continue. Okay, so we've got one part of our flower done. Now, what I'm going to do is select this, and you can move this around with the mouse if you need to. And what I'm going to do is hold the Option key down, and with the Option or Alt key down, you're going to see this kind of double-headed arrow as I approach my shape. What that does is I'm going to make a duplicate of it as I drag it out. And as long as I'm holding Option, I can keep doing that over and over again. Need to make sure that that double-headed arrow shows up. Okay, so now I've got many, many leaves. What I want to do is configure these into a way, and what you can do is click on these and we can rotate, and we can move them into positions overlapping each other. And make sure that those tips meet at the tip. And I'm just going to select all these and rotate them and move them into place so that they overlap one another and look like a flower. So go ahead and do that. Rotate. Sometimes they can be tricky to grab hold of. Okay, so there's our flower. If we wanted to make additional ones, we could, but this is good enough for now. Alright, and I'm going to select the whole thing, and I'm going to nudge this whole thing down so that it's inside the border of my page. I want this to be inside the border of my green. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to use my hand tool and move my page down so I can see the bottom here. I'm going to take my pen tool and I'm going to use my stroke. So I'm going to select the stroke by double clicking it, and I'm going to choose this light green again. And I'm going to make a stem for my flower. So I'm just going to click here, and I'm going to click here, and I'm going to bend this in a certain way. And then I'm going to click down here and bend it a certain way again so that I've got this kind of S curl right here. Hit my selection tool, select nothing. Now the line is set. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to use a stroke again, and I'm going to use a really dark green. And I'm going to use my pen tool, and I'm going to go kind of parallel to this line. I'm going to click. I'm going to click out here so that I've got this curl. And I'm going to click down here so that I can curl it back. Oops. If you make a mistake, you can just put Control Z. I made my line a little bit too thick, so I'm just going to come back here and do it again. I just hit Control Z a few times, or you can go to Edit, Undo. Okay. So I'm going to come over here and click again, and I'm going to make a little curl here. And finish it off right there. Select, nothing. You notice that I actually have it going out, and you want this to kind of go away from the line and against the line here, here and back again, because that will give it a more organic feel. Now I'm going to set up my blend again, so blending options, and this time I'm just going to do a lower number. I'll do, let's say 4. So I'm going to do 4 this time, and I'm going to select my stem, both of them, so I highlighted both, go to Object, Blend, Make, and you see that I have this stem has been created, and it's created all these blended modes. And with my selection tool, I can select all of this, and with my arrow key, I'm just going to push the arrows up and link that up to my flowers there, so now it's all connected. So I've got my flower and my stem here. Alright, let's make some leaves now. So in order to make leaves, I'm going to grab my pen tool, and I'm going to use this same dark green, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to click again, and make a leaf like so. So here's one part of the leaf. I'm going to select nothing, so it's like that, and I'm going to use my stroke, and I'm going to use a lighter green this time again. And with my pen tool, I'm going to go close to, but I don't want that slash, I want an X. Make sure that there's an X before you click. I'm going to click once, and I'm going to come down here, not quite to it, click again, pull this out, and we want to make our leaf just like that. Alright, I'm going to click on the one side, use my arrow keys and nudge that up, and you can even use your magnifying glass here, and I can draw a square around what I want to see, and with my selection tool I can get really close in here and put those close together. Alright, so let's go to our object again, and I'm going to go to Blend, Blending Options, and I'm going to move this back up to 8. Click OK, and then I'm going to highlight both of these. I'm going to go to Object, Blend, Make, and I've got my 8 lines going there. So let's go ahead and zoom back out. I'm going to use the zoom tool, and I can hit Option on the keyboard, and I can zoom back out. Okay, so there's our leaf, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to highlight it, I'm going to hold the Option key down, and I'm going to make duplicates. I'm going to make 3 of them. Okay, The first leaf I'm going to place onto my branch here, and the second one I'm going to rotate slightly and place again onto the stem. And the third leaf I'm going to rotate the other direction and place it right there. Alright, almost done. The last step we're going to do is we're just going to create some flowing stalks that are coming out of the ends of here. So I'm going to go ahead and click with my green. You can keep this at green. I'm going to click down here and I'm going to curl this out like so. And I'm going to curl it up again, just like that. Hit my select, and so now I've got this kind of curling piece right here. I'm going to use a different stroke for the other side, so I'm going to use dark green again. Click OK. And with my pen tool, I'm going to go next to my old selection here, so that there's no slash. I want it to be an X, remember. I'm going to click, and I'm going to go up to where it starts to curve, and I'm going to curve this in. Like that. Then I'm going to come up here even beyond where I used to be and click, and I'm going to rotate this around. Okay, I actually didn't like that. I'm going to Control Z it. So now I've still got this point. I'm going to go over here and click beyond where I was before. Yeah, just like that. Select, and we've got this going thin, or kind of thin to almost non-existent to thick right here. And I've already got the blend set up to 8, and that's where I want it to be. So I'm going to select both of these lines and go to Object, Blend, Make, and I've got this piece right here. And I can put that wherever I want it to be. So I'm going to rotate this slightly and move it and rotate it again. And I'm going to move this with my arrows until it kind of matches up with the side of my flower here. Yeah, just like that. And I'm going to make another one coming up here. So use your pen tool. I'm going to click. I'm going to make a curve. And another curve. And then I'm going to select. And I'm going to deselect that piece. And then I'm going to use a different colored stroke. A different color green. Use my pen tool again. I'm going to come up here. Click. Bend this around like so, and I'm going to click here to end it. Oops. Another little mistake. Make sure that let's see. I'm going to go back in time again, Control Z. If you mess up, don't worry about it. Pen tool can be tricky. There we go. Use my select, deselect everything. Oh. Okay. And I'm going to go to highlight these, Object, Blend, Make. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select this, rotate it, and I'm going to connect it to my branch here. Alright. And there's your completed flower. Make sure you don't have this little swoop right here. redo the pen tool if you get this little swoop. We all want it to end right here. But you can see that you can use object blend, and you can blend two line strokes together to create different color blendings together. Make sure that you use different kinds of colors, and then it'll blend nicely. You'll see a nice depth to it.